for Shane Warne. And he's done it.
We would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Aussies Abroad on the B Sample Sports Network. Guys, the three of us are back again this week, but a little bit of housekeeping for you guys first. We know that you guys haven't got a lot of time on your hands these days. Everyone lives a very fast-paced life, and it's hard to sit down and watch our show on YouTube. So we have branched out, and we're now on Spotify as well. Go on and find Aussies Abroad on Spotify. I made it work yesterday. I can see it's there, so hopefully you guys can all find it too. I'll get Josh, our producer, to add it on the screen here for us at some stage. So find us on Spotify. We are there. We are moving up in the world, folks. Right, guys. Yeah. How was your week, Mr. Beau Kennett? Tell us all about it. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, good week for me, everyone. Colts had a nice win this morning, so that starts my week off. That fixes all my life woes. So
5 touchdowns from Taylor. 5.
Oh,
it's a freak.
Put him in the give him the MVP now.
Oh, please.
I was just my day couldn't have got bad after that. I was cheering.
Yeah.
Good win on the footy on the weekend. Good win in the footy on the weekend for the boys. Apart from that, we had 2 different dinners for my father-in-law, his birthday. We had a dinner for him and a lunch for him. So
nice.
Just out with the family all weekend, basically, eating food.
Beautiful.
That'll do.
Very
I'm
nice.
not drinking beers, though, so everyone's just getting pissed, and I'm here having a Coke.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Yeah, Coke. Very nice. How about you, Ness? How was your week?
Yeah, thanks, Biggs. Had a good one. Back in the office, and I debuted back at netball. If you can say debuted at however many years I've been playing netball. But after 17 weeks, I found the court again, so that was nice. We had a 1-point win. I was out of position, played a bit of defence, and we won. So that I don't know how that's meant to happen, really, but it did, and I didn't break. So
I heard you had a much smaller side than they did too, and they weren't willing to help you out. So
rough, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, welcome back to netball. Yeah.
Well, I've had a few days off work. It was too wet to work on Saturday, which is a shame, and then I got to have an RDO today. So I've been working out heaps and spending time with my 2 kids. I've had a great week, so that's been very good. So
winning, everyone's winning this week.
Well, winning indeed. Without further ado, let's get started, guys. Now, Ness, I know your new favorite sport is the Formula One, as they say. There'll be a new Aussie driver there next season, Oscar Dapasati. I'm not really sure how to say that.
Pasta?
Yeah, he's signed on with Alpine for next season. Now, Alpine is where Fernando Alonso is, and Alonso's last season will be next year. So it looks like Oscar will get a drive in 2023. Now, he just won the F2 this year, or he's in front, I think, with 1 race left, and he won the F3 last year. So I think it's been a couple of years since we've had 2 Aussies in the Formula One. I believe there was a crossover between Webber and Ricciardo a couple of years back. And as we know, both of them haven't really lived up to the hype that Australia needs. I don't know much about this kid, but it must be really nice for us to have another Aussie in there.
Yeah, I don't know much about him either, but certainly seems to be doing really well in the F2. So his promotion into the F1 will be amazing. And as you said, really great to have another Aussie driver, and I think good for Daniel Ricciardo too. I can just see the banter already between the two of those guys.
How good is it going to be?
Yeah. So hopefully he does
They're
good
both
things.
surely shoeys all round.
There'll be shoeies for days. And as we've said on this show, all of us will have a shoey when an Aussie finally wins a Formula One race. We'll be back.
A duo shoey. Love
A duo
it.
shoey. Now, you guys obviously hopped up to watch the Formula One. I know this is not about Aussies as such, but Hamilton went on to win the race. And so now he's just behind Verstappen in the race for the title with one race left. Is that right?
Yes, he's 8 behind, and if he, they've still got a couple of races, but he's 8 points behind.
I think 2 races to go.
2 races, okay, yeah.
And he has to, if he wins and gets fastest lap, I believe, then I think they're tied for points. So it is on.
Yeah, which is sick. It's sick to be so tight coming into the final few races.
Yeah,
but also Lewis can fuck off.
I was in the UK all those years back, and I was there from 07 to 09, and I was there when Hamilton made his debut, and it was just so awesome for England to have someone that was that awesome back then, because I think it had been a few years since Damon Hill had retired, and they were looking for someone, and he was so young back then, and he's gone on to do incredible things. And even though he's English, I love him. I'm sorry. It's just how it is, right? I'm sorry.
Did he have a lot of hype when he was a kid? Did he have a lot of hype around him as a kid?
He won heaps of different titles. I think I don't think he'd come through the traditional F2, F3 way. I think he was a go-kart champion, if I'm wrong. But he was, he had heaps of hype around him, and being English too, obviously they've got nothing else going for them, so they need something.
We'll get to the cricket in a second.
Exactly. Righto, let's talk about the cricket now. Obviously, you saw Australia win the T20 World Cup last weekend, and now we've been named host of the 2022 tournament next year. Looks like the MCG will host the final, with the semi-finals being in Adelaide and Sydney. Some of the best sporting events I've ever seen have been at the MCG. It'll be very nice to have a tournament like that over here, and hopefully we pick a decent team for the cricket. Are you guys excited about hosting a T20 World Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be so keen. And I've never been to the MCG, so...
You've never been to the MCG? There's no way.
Never. I know, and I call myself a sport fan.
No.
Yeah, dude. No. So maybe that's going to have to force a little trip to Melbourne.
I think Suncorp Stadium is probably the best for a rectangle, but I think if you're playing a rectangle sport in Melbourne, it needs to be at Allianz or Amy Park. But the Oval Stadium is just incredible. MCG is just magnificent here. So
I got to do it.
Yeah, check it out. It's good. The Aussies have named their test squad for the upcoming Ashes series. Marsh and Wade are out as we expected, and our friend of the show, David Warner, will open the batting for the Aussies. But there's been a bit of controversy the last couple of days with Aussie captain Tim Payne standing down from his captainship because he sent a dick pic to some chick 4 years ago. I want to get you guys' take on this because I have a hot take as well. Ness, we'll start with you. Yes.
How good is unsolicited dick pic?
Ness, how do you feel?
There's so many things just wrong with this situation. Look, he did it. Is it great? No, it's not great. He was married at the time. He has a family, all of that. But I think the way that Cricket Australia have actually dealt with it, and the fact that they were aware of this situation a number of years ago, they kind of buried it or tried to bury it, and it's now surfaced. I just think for what they now have put his family through, they enabled him to be captain, and they got, to be fair, Tim Payne kind of got them out of a bit of a hot spot after the previous captain did all sorts of wrongs as well. So I sort of feel like they knew that this was happening and they enabled it, and now it's surfaced, and I think the egg is well and truly on their face for this one.
All right.
My
Does he keep his spot in the team? Bo, what do you think?
Tough question. Probably deserves it on form, I suppose, but I don't know. I think we've got enough talent that how much do we really miss out on if we put someone else in?
Yeah. Look, I didn't think there was an issue with Steve Smith and the sandpaper gate. I didn't give a shit, and I don't think the issue with this is Tim Payne and his wife or ex-wife. That's the issue there. And what happens off the sporting field doesn't matter at all. I fully understand he shouldn't have done that. If he had a girl on the side, I get that. People do it. Happens all the time, right? I don't care. And that.
Are you promoting side chicks?
No, I am not promoting side. No, I'm not promoting
become?
side chicks. What I'm promoting is what you do on the sporting field compared to your own life doesn't matter. Don't give a shit, man. Stand down as captain, but come back in the team, stay with the team. The captain should be Steve Smith anyway. We all know this. He's been captain anyway. And it doesn't actually matter who the captain is, right? Because leaders are leaders regardless. Steve Smith is still going to be out in the field being a leader of men. That's just the way he is. And Tim Payne is exactly the same. So if Cummins ends up with the captaincy, sweet, go for it, because it doesn't matter who the captain is. They're all going to lead the country the way that we want. And as long as we beat England, no one gives a shit. That's just
me.
You
think Cummins bowling? Oh, sorry, bro.
No, you go.
No, I was just going to say, do you think Cummins becoming captain means he's bowling suffers? Because sometimes we do see that. We see that someone gets promoted to a leadership position. Yeah. And I used the example today talking to a colleague about Sam Kerr and how, she hasn't necessarily played her best for Australia. She's been playing awesome in normal rounds, but for Australia, she hasn't played the best, and it's probably carrying the weight of leadership. And so that can happen too. I feel that could happen with Pat Cummins.
Yeah, I think
I agree completely.
Yeah, some of the best captains have been batsmen rather than bowlers. Yeah, so maybe it does affect him
way more.
Yeah,
I don't really.
Does that happen for a reason, do you reckon?
No, as you said, I think it's just the weight and expectation of that. And I think being a bowler, you need to focus on more about what you're doing and not what everyone else around you is doing too. And I think, like myself, I am a natural born leader, right? And so at work, and I think that would affect me more. So I think people like Steve Smith should just get the captaincy back. Like that was years ago. We've had sandpaper gate, homework gate, with all these gates. As long as we go out and beat England, no one cares. It's fine.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're right. I don't think anyone's really going to care too much from the media perspective about what's happened here or there. As long as you get a win.
And speaking about teams who don't get wins, the Socceroos. We sat here last week and we spoke about how important it was to beat China of all teams. And China's a massive country. They're good at so many different things, but not football, right? And Australia drew 1-1 with China, and that now moves us into third spot. There's no more games this year. I think the next one's in early March next year. There's 4 games left, and we still have to play the 2 teams above us as well. And I think both of those games are away games. So we're in a bit of strife. I've been a Socceroos fan since I was about 5 years old, and I've lived through some pain and absolute heartache. And I'm sick and tired of it. We were on like a 10-game winning streak, and now here we are getting a draw against freaking China. Ness, help me out here. What's going on?
I don't know. We often talk about the Socceroos being the team that give us the most grey hair and the biggest heartache. Like you talk about games that have kept you up at night. I reckon most of mine involve the Socceroos and the Diamonds for sure. But I don't know where it's all going wrong for them. We really like to make life difficult for us when we try and qualify for World Cups.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
In oath we do. Maybe that's just what we're setting up at the moment. It's just a good Australian fairy tale.
because that's what I need. More heartache. Yes.
Yeah, more grey hair.
Yeah, but then it creates. Do you remember the World Cup qualifier against Japan?
Yep.
When I think we were down like 2-0. That's all we're trying to do, recreate moments
The
like
game,
that.
yeah.
Have a bit of faith in the boys.
It's bad. I've got faith, but at the moment, that faith is where
Doesn't sound like.
Yeah, I'm close. Close, man. Right, turning to rugby league now. Now, Parramatta have signed their captain Gutho to a huge extension. He'll be there until the end of 2025. I'm not a big fan, actually. I don't think
He's a
Gutho,
fucking flog.
I know he is. Thank you. See, there you go. See,
I hate him.
I didn't realize
The two of you hate this guy.
Thank you. Yeah. And I don't think he's the answer to Para's issues. And I'm so happy that you think so too, Bo. Very nice.
Yeah, I can't stand him. He's kind of turned into that just whinge every play. And I think we've probably surely have spoken about him before in the pod, that just the Parramatta fans think he's a god. He's got a good work ethic and it happens to be in the right place at the right time.
That's it. All right, a couple more things. Wales beat the Wallabies in the rugby on the weekend. Australia's fallen again. That's 2 games in a row we've lost now, but we played about 60 odd minutes this game with only 14 men on the park and went down to a late penalty goal, a very late goal in about the 84th minute. I didn't see this game, but hopes are high that the Aussies are starting to really build into a better outfit. And the All Blacks got beaten too, which is great. So big shout out to France. You guys are on fire. Thank you for beating New Zealand and making our loss that much sweeter. So all right. Finally, before we get onto the good, bad, and ugly, we've got Aussies Open tennis comes in about the end of January, and they've finally decided that unvaccinated stars cannot come over here. Novak has said he's unsure if he'll come. He's had a massive stand on not getting the shot done, and I believe Novak.
That only just clicked with me. Has that been?
Yeah.
No vaccination. That is.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah. Anyway, well bad, man, too. So we'll have no Novak unless he gets the shot sometime in the next couple of weeks, obviously. So we won't have Novak, but I think he's on the cusp of trying to break the most Grand Slams. So it would be nice to have him out here to actually do that. But in the end, the poor people of Melbourne have suffered through the longest lockdown in the history of the world. And these guys, you can't allow sports stars to come here who are unvaxxed when you kept your own state locked down for like 9 months. That's unfair. So I think he's finally doing the right thing, but there was a lot of umming and ahhing. How do you guys feel? Should we allow everyone here or not?
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm still lost in my own head that Novak and no vaccination is the same fucking thing. That distracted me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, beautiful.
No, I think you've nailed it. They have been through a shitty time, and if someone came and fucked them over again,
yeah,
the poor people. My God. Plus, I'm Tennessee's
old
better
Novak. Right. Finally, before we start on the good, bad, and ugly, we have a new segment this week. We're calling it the Beau Kennett Files. Get ready, folks?
Shit.
The Beau Kennett Files. Now, Ness and I went down and we watched Beau's game on the weekend. Now, I've seen many American football games over all these years here in Canberra. Over in the US, I've seen sports from all levels, but Ness, this was your first game, and I think you got a few takeaways from this game.
Oh, I know. Other than the fact that we had to drive to another country to watch this game, Tuggeranong is so far away, can I just say? But it was, look, so many things impressed me, and I'm not sure it's going to quite go ahead of my love for the F1, but Gridiron is climbing. And a few takeaways. You guys had a win, so that's amazing. Mr. Bo Kennett scores a touchdown, amazing. Celebrates with an excellent post-touchdown celebration, like fantastic moves. And
we've got that video. We've got that video, and we'll show it. And we'll show that
we do.
On the screen.
That was fantastic. I likened the whole experience to something out of Little Giants, and I love a little bit of Little Giants. So just amazing. But a few takeaways, Bo. I reckon that we could make this game just a little bit quicker and it'd be a little bit more interesting. So it has to just be a bit quicker. And I said this to Spinks, and I think he nearly threw me out of the venue, but I think they needed my patronage. I reckon a chip and chase option would be really good.
Yep.
You know what? I think it's a great idea. And there's another tactic that I think is a bit underutilized, and that's using the lights. Like, the lights aren't great, but a big high kick and making sure, like, when you're receiving, it's really hard to see the ball. I reckon that's a bit underutilized. I think that's something for you to consider next game. So some good takeaways. I enjoyed it.
Really, really good takeaways. The thing about kicking would mean our offense isn't doing a good job, and that's
You've
not
lost
us.
me, Bo.
So we don't have to kick too much.
And did you make an observation about the injuries, Ness?
Oh my God, I nearly forgot the best part. So we're sitting there and Spinks says, wait till you see when someone is injured. And I'm going, what? Like, that's bad if someone gets injured, you know? And then the next thing, everyone takes a knee when there's an injury. I've never seen anything like it. It's like all the good guys in the world.
It's the weirdest thing.
I'm so sorry. Because I'm such
someone
a
just
novice
rolls
to
an
this
ankle
sport.
and no, I fucking am with you. Someone rolls an ankle and it looks like we just lost someone's life.
And they all take a knee, and the fucking doctor takes 30 minutes to walk on the field really slow and gets there, and old mate gets up and he fucking turns around and walks back, and I'm like, what is the point, mate? Just stay sitting down.
I think that's what I love the most, is that, like you just said, it's like there's probably a fingernail or something that's happened. Yeah, there's the smallest knock. It looks like this.
That was the best.
Oh, no.
Oh, we lost it.
Yeah,
like a death,
I don't have
then...
a defense. It's fucking weird. You're right. Yeah.
Yes, but you
Josh,
did.
You have to cut some of that.
You did get a win, though. You got a win over a team that has been talking up how good they are for the last 6 months now, and you got a huge win, which is nice. And they've been very silent on social media this week. So shout out to all the Wolves. Hopefully you guys are doing okay.
I hope so. Man, I'll talk about them a bit later on. My God.
Nice.
Fantastic. So thanks. The whole experience was really enjoyable.
It was great. Yes. And we'll be back
I'll take it
again
for you next time.
Yeah. And that dance, if you guys haven't seen it, should be up on the screen now. And when Josh finds it for us, we will put it on social media because it was fantastic. And we thought we'd actually missed it because we'd filmed the touchdown, but we missed the celebration. And then I remembered that all games are filmed on YouTube. So I went on and found it and we got the video. So it's so good.
It's not that bad. It's pretty lame.
It was excellent. God. It was good.
I can still hear the song in my head as you do your dance, man. Oh, I love it. Righto. Time for the good, bad, and ugly. And guys, this week I'm going to go first just because. Right. My good this week is the country that we live in and the awesomeness it is to be an Aussie. I know it's a bit cold and wet over here at the moment, but we are coming into summer and it is the greatest time of the year to be an Australian. Not only the beaches and the beers that are coming, but the sport that we get over summer too. Boxing Day is my favorite day of the year for sporting events, and I sat down and got to work out my Boxing Day madness that I have every year. And this year it is pumping. There is that much sport on Boxing Day. NFL and the basketball, the cricket, the T20, the Sydney to Hobart, there is that much on, and it's just a good time of the year to be an Aussie. So shout out to all you Aussies out there. Get out, enjoy your summer, and drink responsibly.
And all the people that have to work and run these events over summer. Just a
And
little
those
shout
guys
out
too.
to all
Thank
those
you.
peeps.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, I feel bad. Thank you. Cheers.
See you in winter. It's been a pleasure.
Right. My bad this week is the ammunition we are giving the Barmy Army. Guys, I was there when the Barmy Army found out that Davey Warner's wife had been sleeping with Sonny in the toilets in the pub, and they give it to him for like 5 full days. They come up with these songs and they sing, and it's fantastic. And now Tim Payne has been sending a picture of his old fella to a girl that he used to work with, and the Barmy Army is just going to come at us. So you guys need to stop giving them ammunition. Like, the Barmy Army are talented at what they do, and I know most of them can't come out because of COVID restrictions, but there's enough Englishmen living in Sydney now that they're going to have a big enough turnout there, and I'm sure they're going to give it to Tim Payne. So stay tuned, folks. The Barmy Army will always win the argument, but we will win on the field. That's just how it is.
Go.
So, and my ugly is the human race this week. I got my chest tattooed a couple of weeks back. For those of you that are on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, you can't see it, but thanks anyway. If I wear a collared shirt, my tattoo is visible, right? And the amount of times that people don't look me in the eye, they look at my tattoo, and I like to apologize for anyone that I've ever looked at this area rather than up here. I'm sorry. Sometimes my eyes wander south, and that's just how it is. And I'd like to apologize to everyone because I find people are staring under my neck at the moment rather than in my eyes. And so I'm sure that's how females have felt for a very long time. So I'd like to apologize for that. So the human race, we suck.
I'm taking the human race's defense on that, because if you're going to get a tattoo, people are probably going to look at it. Don't look at my tattoo, you're flogged. Maybe they're just admiring it. Maybe they're like, that's a nice tattoo.
Yes, and that's what I was doing all these years too. I was just admiring them.
Just admiring. Oh my God. I will do that.
Right, that's all I got.
Play on.
What do you guys got? Who's up? Go.
Hit it, Beau.
Ness, go. Oh shit. Okay, I'll go. My good this week is, I didn't actually know it exists, but there's an Australian Sporting Hall of Fame who has 2 new inductees, Ian Thorpe and Dennis Lilly. So kudos to them, 2 greats. Dennis Lilly, I think, is before my time, I definitely know. So definitely missed out on the Dennis Lilly era, which fucking sucks, because I've gone back and watched plenty of his film, because he could throw the ball down. And Ian Thorpe's just an absolute icon as well. So both of those guys making the Australian Sporting Hall of Fame. Kudos to them. Two legends growing up that, I got to watch a bit of anyway. Ian Thorpe was probably the first person in like watching the Olympics that was Aussie that you're like, okay, this guy is just better than anyone else.
So good, wasn't he?
So,
yeah.
Brings back good memories of just watching him dominate before becoming just an annoying prick on the Wheat Bix ads. So still a good guy though. My bad this week is going towards, you touched on it before with the Viliama kick-out thing, which just the media or the people that take photos and post this shit before it kind of comes out, and then the backlash that happens, and there kind of does need be a bit of privacy, I suppose. If there's a guy in there, it's his career, it's his job. I think if there was an office worker that just walked into an office for an interview or Parliament or like anything like that, it shouldn't kind of be leaked before it's allowed to. You know what I mean? So it just takes away, it adds a bit of, I don't know, it just takes away the signing, I suppose.
How-
It can create bad media or whatever. Jerome Luai had a good time with it because they were out on their celebrating their premiership
loved
or
it.
whatever. They had a good time with it. And my ugly this week is
So if I took the photo of them, do I ring the Telegraph and say, look, I've got this photo, and the Telegraph pay me for it, or are you just
I don't know.
sending it in?
Never really
I don't know.
snitched.
Yeah, because
Yeah, do you start negotiations? Maybe, yeah. Call up all the news things. Who's going to
call
give
up
you
a
the most
few.
money?
yeah, because surely there's only 3 or 4 people in that room with you when the photo was getting taken. So surely you know who it is that's leaked that photo. So you need to be getting something for it because you're probably getting sacked.
Yeah, you're probably in a world of trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, again, maybe when you're doing things like that, make sure maybe a little shout out to Mitch Pearce and Joel Monahan and that. Maybe make sure people get their phones out. I'm not sure.
Just keep your phones at home, guys.
And your
turn
dogs.
turn them off.
Keep your dogs locked up too.
And the peanut butter in the cupboard.
Oh boy. This is going down.
It's gone downhill today. I know, buddy. What else you got for us?
My ugly. So ACT Gridiron, that's just become ugly enough in this podcast. But we touched on the guys that we were versing, and my poor mum is in the stand. She comes to every game, and she hates the team that we're versing, who's just played their first game because they were just a bunch of really arrogant pricks, I would say. And that's coming from my mum, who's a Saint. So of course she wouldn't say anything bad unless it was the truth.
Yeah.
Where we heard them on the sideline last week being noisy and being all about it, and then they started the game off again. This is a team that has no reason to be arrogant. They start the game, they're all noisy, thinking they're all that, and I don't know. I want to be respectful to them because they are a pretty good side. They're a pretty good footy team, but just you're doing the league. It's a bad look that you come in thinking you're all that and then just kind of get your ass handed to you and go home with your tail between your legs. I think maybe just it's a learning opportunity for them, and they can self-reflect to maybe not be arrogant and a prick all the time.
Yeah, no,
but
look,
there's some nice guys on that team. But when my mum says that she doesn't like you, I'm off you too. So.
Yeah, we sat on the opposite end of the stand from where your mum was, but I know full well what was going on there. When I was there last week, they all sat on the same end as me, and they were running their mouth talking about how good they were. And as you've seen on social media, and I can say it because I don't give a shit, they've been running their mouth about how good they're going to be, and they got put in their place on Saturday night, and they've been a bit quiet this week, talking about how it was so good to get our first hit out, and we'll come back bigger and stronger next week. Yeah, you will, because you're up against a team who you're going to smoke. So we'll see what happens in 3 weeks' time when you guys come back up against them again. December 11, I will be there, and you should be too.
Let's go. No, they are a good footy team. I'll finish with that. They will be good, but
if they could throw the football, yeah. Cool. Ness, what do you got for me?
They need to work on their post touchdown celebrations, and maybe they could take some advice from Bo Kennett.
Teaching class at 7:30 Wednesdays.
I tell you what, Bo, we could start a mixed netball team, and I'd recruit you because you do have an arm. That was impressive. Can throw. Well played, sir.
Oh. Blushing.
I said that on Saturday, and I was sober, so I'm just saying it again. I'm just repeating it.
You did.
Good, bad, and ugly.
Oh, sorry. Just what I was saying, dude. You missed out on the food too.
Yeah, no. I came after the game. I was like, "Where the hell are you?"
We just left. Food? The rain came, man. We're out of there, and the food was good.
The rain. You're undercover. I'm fucking off both of you.
Ness did what Ness does and brings a cheese plate and snacks to any game of sport when she doesn't have to run it and play. So
the caramel was good too, man. Mint.
Fuck you, man.
Right, Ness, what do you got for us?
Oh dear, goodness. All right, remember these
caramel.
Three
That's
names.
what it doesn't have.
Be careful, you're not getting any caramel at the spiders. Remember these 3 names: Brianna Walker, Sarah Blizzard, and Stephanie Fernandez. You've probably never heard of them before, but they are 3 of the 4, and I the fourth one hasn't qualified, so that's why I don't know it. They are part of the Australian women's bobsled team, and I didn't know it was a thing. But these girls are training over in China at the moment. They're trying to qualify for the Aussies to, take a stand in the next Olympics. And it's not a sport that we're probably overly familiar with, although anyone that knows me knows that Cool Runnings is one of the greatest movies ever. So
would you like to
I'll
kiss
be
my
watching.
lucky egg?
Yes, I do.
It's too good. But I was reading about their training, and so every day they actually hike the track and they study all of the different conditions and all the different gradients. There's some turns that are almost a 360, and it's pretty much referred to as the F1 of on ice. So these girls are clocking up post 150k in a bobsled on ice. The whole thing is crazy. So yeah, they're aiming to qualify. We'll know in January 2022 whether they have qualified or not. I'll be watching this one with interest. So
is there coach
technology? Sorry, is it not technology that shows them the track and the angles and everything? They've got to climb it and learn it.
Yeah, I think that's just whole part of, I guess part of how they plan for it. I guess they're using all the video analysis they have, but I guess there's no better way. And if you've seen the F1, and you should tune into Ferrari's latest video. There's Sainz and Leclerc. They do a little cycle of the track and they're sussing it all out and where all the bumps and whatever are. So I suppose I don't do that to a netball court. Maybe that's where it's gone wrong for me.
And are the girls coached by a fat dude with long hair?
Ooh, you have caught me without that knowledge. I'm sorry.
Jordan Candy himself.
Yeah, don't know. So that's my good. So hopefully the girls, kill it in their qualification. We talked about it earlier, but my bad this week is the A-League. So it has kicked off, and they have a new streaming partner, Paramount Plus. They've issued an apology after just the second day that they had the contract. They've been absolutely hammered on social media. So there were all sorts of technical difficulties with the Western United and Melbourne Victory game. They actually missed the start of the game, and then there were just parts that were unwatchable. My thing is that broadcast deals are worth more than anything in the world. And in the year 2021, you simply cannot afford to get that wrong. KO's had its fair share of getting slammed for, poor coverage. We saw changes with the Cricket Australia contract and broadcast deals over the last couple of years. And when sports move, it's just a thing you cannot get wrong. So this hurts. The A-League, the A-League is, soccer is a world sport, and the A-League really needs all the fans it can get at the moment. It's certainly in a bit of a slump. So to read that is not great. Obviously, they took over the contract from Fox Sports. So we will see if that improves. I dare say they've been working pretty hard this week to
You'd think so. Is it like KPIs they have to meet or something? Like if that happens again, your contract can just be torn up?
There would be all sorts of clauses in there, but I guess it's pretty hard to get out of multi-million-dollar contracts as well without a decent fight. Probably ask Cricket Australia about that one, but that's a mess. And I mean, we are talking multi-millions of dollars here, and soccer is one of the biggest sports in the world. So I can't imagine it's gone down very well at all.
I've got a subscription package I use, and I get virtually everything I want, and I pay a fortune for it. But I get all channels from all over the world, and I can talk with you guys off air about how I get that. But is Paramount like a KO and a Stan and an Amazon and all that stuff? This is what annoys me, because now you need, well, I don't, but most folks need a $7 Netflix and a $7 Stan and an $8 this, and you need 15 different packages. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it sounds good just to pay $7, but when you've got 5 of them,
exactly. Yeah.
Not the first time Spinky said he needs 15 packages.
This show has lost its plot.
It's gone downhill today. I know. That's what
my ugly is still on actually the world's game. So Qatar 2022 is probably the World Cup is probably the most spoken about event that has actually still not happened. But we've been talking about this since Qatar won the bid in 2010, and obviously Australia was completely embroiled in that controversy over the bid. What I've learned over the last little bit is that 16 of the 22 FIFA committee members have actually been either suspended or jailed and charged because of corruption as a result. And I watched this quite alarming documentary on ABC the other night about the human rights groups who have highlighted all of the deaths of the migrants who have been constructing the venues. And there's just all of these horrendous human rights issues as a result of it. Now, they're saying that the World Cup will actually try and correct that and change that perception about Qatar. But this is the uglier side of sport that we don't like to see. Again, it's the world's game, and it's the biggest event that happens in the sporting world. There's obviously a whole lot of controversy that's gone on with the bid, a whole lot of controversy and situations that have gone on with the construction phase of this. There was a time they were pulling Qatar completely as a venue and a host nation. So we know how much that the sport means for the country and what this event will do for that country. But it was. If you haven't seen it, tune into ABC and just watch the 15-minute snippet of this story about the really ugly side of sport and the really ugly side of this whole bid and how it's just, for all the wrong reasons, put Qatar on the map.
Yeah.
I will watch that. I didn't know that was a thing. That's it.
I'm a massive fan. I'm a huge fan of stadiums, and the way we can fit 100,000 fans into a stadium is just awesome. But what they've said over there is, because it's going to be 42 degrees during the day, they're going to have air-conditioned stadiums, which is one of the first times that we'll ever actually have that, and almost like personalized air conditioning in your seat. So I'm very interested to see how this all goes down, because you need 7 or 8 different stadiums, and they are building them all from scratch. So I can't wait to see what they can come up with. And I'm sure, as you said, with this doco, things have gone a bit south with how they're going about it. So it'd be very interesting to see. So,
Absolutely.
Very nice. All right, guys. Coming up this weekend, there are a few big things we need to touch on. The USA women's football team are out here to play 2 games against the Matildas, Saturday night and Tuesday night. I think Saturday night is at Stadium Australia and Tuesday night is at Parramatta Stadium. So if you guys are in Sydney, get out for that. They're trying to make it the biggest crowd for football Australia's ever had at Stadium Australia. So get in there too. The WBBL, we're almost at the finals, aren't we, Ness? Got a couple more games left.
Yeah. No, that we're in finals now, so rounds are done. Yep.
Yeah, lovely. And all the Sydney teams have sucked this year, so hopefully there'll be a new champion come early next week. So that'll be very good. Coming into summer again, folks, and cricket, as you know, and the NFL is going, and the college football are into their bowl games starting very shortly. I think there's only 1 or 2 games left there, and Beaus Colts are finally starting to hit some form and might actually be in the finals come next season, next year.
Mate, we are a lock.
Flying.
We are a lock. And Hard Knocks.
Oh, yes.
In season. Have you been watching? There's only 1 episode. Oh, give me that.
Yeah, look, we sat through and watched the horrible display the Cowboys had through Hard Knocks this season. It was terrible to watch. And we're so used to having a bit of controversy through Hard Knocks. So make sure you tune in for the Colts in-season Hard Knocks, which is out now. So go find that somewhere on Paramount or Stan or whatever it is you guys fucking watch this stuff on. So, all right, until next week, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you find us on Spotify. Get on there. We'll have a link up soon. So thank you. Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye.